What is up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Kick-Ass Podcast. Let me know if you can hear me okay, and we will get into it, guys. Man, if you were with me last night for the watch along, thank you so much. You got my thoughts in real time, so we won't be doing an in-depth breakdown of the pay-per-view itself. Just the main topic coming out of it, which of course is R-Truth, or AKA now known as Ron Killings. It may seem so. We'll get into that, but let me know if you can hear me. Okay, word. Thanks, Franklin. Appreciate you, bro. What up, man? What up, E? What up, guys? I appreciate you all filing in here. If you watch live, I appreciate it. If you watch on replay, I appreciate that as well. So yeah, we're not going to waste much time. We're going to get into it because there is a big game tonight, guys. Big game in the NBA if you watch the NBA. Game 2 of OKC versus the Pacers. My money is on the Pacers, literally. So I hope that they pull out the W here tonight. But the topic of why we're here. We're not here to discuss NBA. I don't know enough to talk about the NBA like that. We're here to talk R-Truth, man. And I really want to know your thoughts on all this. Universal reached out as well on the old Twitter. So what's up, Universal? I appreciate you, man. If you pop in here, we're gonna talk about it now. And if you watch on replay, what's up, man? I appreciate you. But guys, obviously, we all know what happened last night at Money in the Bank. R-Truth, Ron Killings came back and the typical, all blacked out hoodie. He had one of those pullovers, almost like ski mask type things too, to cover his face, which I thought was a good touch. But the main, I guess, debate right now is, was it all part of the master plan, or was it a reaction to the backlash and things like that? So that's what I want to talk about, and that's what I want to kind of dissect a little bit here with you guys and get your input and see what you guys have to think and kind of go from there, man. I think overall, though, it doesn't matter, right? And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because dude is back. I'm happy he's back. Whether it was what it appeared to be, he had this big time match with John Cena at Saturday night's main event. All that good stuff seemed to be, not the start of a run or a push or anything like that. But it did seem that at least he was being used. And again, not that he was going to go on this big run or anything like that, but just kind of what we were used to with Truth, right? Like we would see him, he would come in, do his thing, and then we wouldn't see him for a little bit and just kind of in and out, right? But it wasn't, in my opinion, when Truth wasn't on TV, it wasn't like, oh, we're like clamoring to see Truth. But when he is on TV, it's like, yo, like he's entertaining, right? And like I said before, I think leading into Saturday night's main event, like, do we expect Truth to go in and win that match? No, but it was the story going into it, right? And that's why you like Truth, right? Because he's that feel good character. He's that guy that can lighten up a segment and can damn near get almost anybody to crack. He's gotten Brock Lesnar to almost crack, Roman Reigns, of course, the Usos, we've seen that, and multiple people, so in all accounts, he was one of the, I don't want to say leaders in the back, because I'm not sure of that, but definitely one of the favorites. And when the news broke, he sent out that tweet. Everyone just kind of broke down, and I'll bring that back up here so we can kind of start from the beginning and then go from there. But Triple H has something to say about it as well, which E mentioned here as well at the beginning of the stream. So we'll definitely take a look at what old Triple H had to say. But I want to pull up R-Truth's tweet if he still has it. He has a lot. I'm on his page right now. He has a lot of fan videos, which is cool. I'm going back to the original tweet though like I said, start from there. Unless he's deleted it, which would be kind of interesting. He retweeted one of the videos of him smoking a cigarette. If you know, you know. Ugh. But overall thoughts again on Money in the Bank. One, gosh, he has been really active on Twitter. While I'm looking for that again. Overall, I thought the PLE itself was pretty good. Probably like a solid B. But I think the purpose of it was to kind of set the stage leading into the summer and leading obviously into SummerSlam. We have the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments coming up, and I think that's going to be really something to pay attention to see who they favor, right? I think especially tournaments with WWE, it's interesting to see the lineup, who they pair against each other, and who the finals end up being, and part of me thinks that an early favorite would have to be Stephanie Vaquer, right? But then also I was thinking about it earlier, just randomly when I was running errands. Jade Cargill, too, I think Jade Cargill has a real argument to be made to become Queen of the Ring this year. And I think that obviously we're not going to get into it right now until we get a full lay of the land, right? But I think that that's someone that could use a nice victory like that in a good showcase, a good mini little showcase. And then also you give her a victory that's not a title right now, right? Something that adds additional pressure to her to go out there and be expected to defend and to put on, I don't want to say quality matches as an insult, but a next level of matches where she may still be working to get to. You know what I mean? And that's okay. That's just due to experience, right? And repetitions and things like that. So those are kind of my early thoughts on the Queen of the Ring side. King of the Ring, man, I don't even know yet. To be honest, I haven't put much thought into that, but it was just a random thought. I don't know why, just randomly thought of that shit. But I can't seem to find it just scrolling, so I'm gonna do the whole search. What's up, Cal? But then R-Truth, Ron Killings. I don't know what name we're supposed to. I'm just gonna kind of call him R-Truth for now until we get an idea. But they did reference obviously Ron Killings in WWE's tweet. So, but regardless, his son, R-Truth's son, did reference and respond to Triple H's response. So, all right, cool. Someone took a screenshot. Shout out to them. All right. So, as we all know, this was the original tweet that our guy R-Truth sent out, which is what started this backlash, uproar, whatever you want to call it. R-Truth, Ron Killings, said, "I'm sorry to inform you all, I just got released from WWE. I want to thank WWE for the ride, but mostly I want to thank each and every one of you who was along for the ride. Thank you for all the love, support, and appreciation you have given me over the years. Thank you." And then the little hands. So, obviously, when this tweet was sent out, all hell broke loose, essentially, right? We saw all the responses from the wrestlers, a lot of fans, like so many fans' responses, which we went into. Now, the speculation going forward from there and the backlash was what happened with the clawback, right? Did WWE reach out to him and say, yo, essentially we fucked up. You want to come back, X, Y, and Z? And obviously we saw how it played out, right? Or did they have this elaborate plan from the beginning? And is this going to play into, like I was talking about, even going into Saturday night's main event and then coming out of it before obviously he got released, was does this little story does this story with John Cena, again, not that we expect Truth to win or anything like that, that's not the point. Does this start the serious side of R-Truth, right? And even I had even said I was an advocate for it, right? In the R-Truth version, and have him snap out of it. And before we even, I think it was probably even a couple weeks prior when we found out that this was going to happen, or actually, it was right after John Cena had put Truth through the table, right at the media scrum. I was like, yo, you can use this to a couple of different ways, right? But what you can also do is have R-Truth have this as a wake up call and be like, you know what, fuck this, essentially. Like, I'm no joke, I'm no laughing stock. Yes, I'm entertaining, this, that, and a third, but I'm serious. Like, I have, like, you guys must have forgotten who I was in the ring, blah, blah, blah. Just go from there. And use Ron Killings, right? And be like, R-Truth, like, you guys know me as R-Truth, but I'm really Ron Killings, blah, 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 and go from there and use that serious side of him. Now, fast forward, we go through Saturday night's main event. a good segment, right? I thought, again, it accomplished what it needed to, and then he gets released, right? He himself said he got released. He said, "I'm sorry to inform you all, I just got released from WWE." I mean, so what else are we supposed to take from that? You know, as fans looking from the outside, and we interpreted it the same way that his fellow coworkers did as well. You know, again, all the responses that he got on Twitter and I'm sure on Instagram and things like that. So now, again, we fast forward to him returning at Money in the Bank last night. Excuse me. The tag team match obviously was in the main event, which we all expected something to happen, right? It's in the main event for a reason. You could have very easily just switched the men's Money in the Bank match and the tag team match. Obviously, there's no heavyweight championship or universal championship being defended, so no harm, no foul, right? With the tag team match going into the main event slot, even more speculation. Okay, something's gonna happen. I said maybe is it gonna be like The Rock or Travis Scott? They're in LA, all that stuff. I, obviously hoping not. But you kind of expect something to happen. Did not expect it really to be R-Truth, Ron Killings. So that was a big shocker for me. I won't speak for anyone else, but definitely a big shocker for me. The obviously, like I've said, question and speculation now is was it all part of a work? And I don't think it was. I truly do not think this was part of a elaborate plan to toy with our heartstrings and to get all of this fanfare and love and reaction and a swallow support for R-Truth, because he didn't need it, right? He didn't need it. He'd already had it. So that doesn't make sense. You would do something like that for a character, a wrestler who is popular, right? But could probably use a little boost and use something dramatic, right? So if you want to pull the trigger and do something like that, okay, it is what it is. R-Truth was not in that position. R-Truth is already well established, super loved, this, that, and the third, did not need anything additional to get him over in that regard, right? Like, dude's already made and set. Another reason is because I don't think it was part of an elaborate scheme for weeks, is because I feel like they would have almost exploited that, right? Like if they knew, okay, what was the date? June 1st, whether it was May 31st, the day before, or June 1st, right? We'll go with June 1st since that's when R-Truth sent the tweet out. If they were like, look, okay, come June 1st, we are going to release R-Truth for whatever reason. Doesn't even matter, right? We're just going to release him. And we know the beginning of May, whatever it was, right? 2 months prior. They absolutely would have made some type of story out of it. And especially with this route of that's John Cena is going in, right? Bad guy Cena. What else? In what other way could you put more hate on him? There's obvious other ways, right? But what is a surefire way to get instant heat and instant hatred on John Cena than having Truth go into that Saturday night's main event match and be like, look, I will not. I know this isn't a title match, right? And have him be a little bit more serious going into it and be like, look, I don't deserve a title shot right now, but if I beat you at Saturday night's main event, I will then earn a championship shot at whatever, like whatever, if they want to, whatever PLE, if they want to do it at that Saudi show, whatever, he could declare, they can make a whatever event they want to, because like, look, if I win, if I beat you, I get a shot, kind of like the what does AEW call it? The not the challenger match, the fuck, you know what AEW does it and has it. But let me pull up the chat here because y'all probably know. Y'all may throw it in there. But whatever, I forget the match type that AEW does, what they call it, right? But when you challenge the champion directly, and then if you win, you get the championship shot, or if you lose, you cannot challenge that individual for the remainder of their title reign, right? You could have had Truth set that stipulation, and then on the flip side, be like, look, if I win, I get this, but if I lose, I will leave WWE and I'll be gone for good, essentially almost not like a loser leaves town, because Cena wouldn't be leaving if he lost. But if Truth loses, he's out. Fast forward to Saturday night's main event, you can do the match the exact same way. Have Cena beat Truth, and that kick to the balls would be even worse, right? It would be even more of a kick to the balls, a kick to the balls. You know what I mean? Because that would be the final straw and what solidifies Truth leaving WWE. And the fans would hate Cena. They would hate him for that, right? So, and then, Truth can send out that tweet, and I think that backlash would have been even more than what we got and even more amplified. And again, not sitting here acting like Truth was this big main, like a CM Punk level type wrestler, right? But there's something to be said, and it goes a long way for someone of Truth's tenure and the respect that he's got to have to be around for that long from damn near, I'm sure, everyone when it comes to the crew, the talent, upper management, everyone. You don't go, especially in WWE, that long in one consecutive stretch with them not liking you. You know what I mean? Or then be like, all right, yeah, Truth is whatever, like neither here nor there. So I just think that this was, for whatever reason, they woke up whatever day and they were like, you know what, we're going through the budget. It's this quarter, whatever. We need to make this goal. Starting from the top, they probably synchronized their little list, be like, all right, who makes the top? What's the highest amount? And then go down from there. Be like, all right, well, we can't get rid of this person, this person, this person, and then go from there. As shitty as that sounds, I'm sure that's what they do, and then they probably think of, okay, well, once they go through that tier, they're like, okay, well, obviously when they go through keeping all these people, then you think of, okay, well, Truth is making this much. What are the pros and cons of Truth on the roster? And maybe whoever it was, I don't want to say anyone specifically, but again, I'm sure Triple H had some say. The cons, no, maybe no pun intended, outweighed the pros, and they for whatever reason felt okay with releasing him after just using. And again, like I've seen some people say, it's crazy, the backlash that people were giving to him being released, all that. And again, I'm not sitting here acting like I was the biggest fan, like like business doesn't happen. I totally get it, talked about in the past, shit happens, you know what I mean? But the perception is what, to me, and the goodwill that you've been building up as a company, especially over some really bad shit that's out there, you know, um, actively still going on, allegedly, but still actively going on. You almost can use any little piece of goodness that you can get, and you're on a hot period, right? And you have great momentum, so don't really do anything to kind of cut your legs out from underneath of you. And to me, whatever they were paying him, I'm sure it wasn't over $1 million. And maybe it was, but I'm sure it wasn't. I've seen a couple numbers. The highest one that I saw was like 550,000. And to me, I'd be like, look, like, are we truly getting 550,000 out of him on screen revenue wise? Maybe not when you compare his amount, maybe compared to others. However, the overall perception and vibe and the overall benefits that he provides to the company behind the scenes, and when you do use him on TV, in my opinion, does equate to that. And again, that's just a rough number. And again, it's not my money. So it's very easy for me to sit here on the outside in my little room, doing and saying this shit, right? Because it's not my money. But when you have billions of dollars, and yes, I've seen a little bit of rumblings that they are like a few billion in debt. So I'll have to look into that to be able to speak a little bit better on that. Um, there's other things that you can cut out. You know what I mean? And there's other people making stupid money that you can renegotiate. And I just think, and again, I haven't read, let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if it's one of those like behind a paywall things, and I'm gonna go through your chats here in a second too. Just kind of wanted to get all this out in the beginning and then go from there. But in my opinion, unless they did, which again I'm gonna kind of look into here, if they were like, look, Truth, we can't justify paying you, or we can't continue paying you this amount, but we can pay you this amount. And if he was like, no, fuck that, like I'm worth this amount, and they're like, okay, well, we can't pay you that, and then he's like, okay, then okay, you know. But if they were just like, look, man, we can't pay this, thanks, we'll send you your stuff, like, that's really fucking shitty, you know. And again, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up here, but I don't know. And we have heard some shit, right? Like Mickey James went out there and remember, like, when they released her. And again, I know it's different levels, but Mickey James had been around for a while and was established, right? In my opinion, is a legend in her own right and contributed a lot and has a great mind for the business. And they sent her shit in a box. You know what I mean? So, and to be fair, I forget who went out there and made a statement on it, but they were like, "Look, that's pretty standard, and that's essentially what we always do if you're released, especially if it's a few people released, you know, at once, and it wasn't something that you did negatively or like you failed this test or whatever, they send that shit out in a box." Apparently. So again, but it's about perception, you know, like, you're a publicly traded company, you're a big behemoth out there, so you got to be careful, you know what I mean? Shit that may not be a big deal or maybe whatever to you is going to get blown up, regardless if it's rightfully so or not, like, it's going to get blown up. So I don't know, man. And I just put it up. I want to see if I can get a little bit more info in regards to like the specific departure and what we know of it. Jack Perry is creating knives. Good for him. Making shitload of money to be at home making knives. Good for him. I mean, seriously, good for him. Smart man. Saving his body. A happy Sunday, guys. We're not gonna be on here too long because, like I said, I have a big night ahead tonight with game two, and obviously got to get shit ready. Got to get my coffee ready for tomorrow and all that good stuff. Big week ahead. I will be off on Thursday though, and potentially something fun in the works for Thursday. So TBD on that. If not, if if scheduling isn't adequate, then at least I'll try to do something myself on Thursday. But stay tuned. Stay tuned. And also, Cody Rhodes had something to say about the return of R-Truth as well. And I'll say a little bit more about it in a second, but props to Cody, man. All right. So I don't see anything in particular. I'm gonna go to Twitter really quick. I was thinking about this earlier too. Who is y'all's go to for like for instance, like when a show ends, like a PLE ends, like a recap show, who's y'all's go-to channels? Do y'all have, I'm sure y'all do, obviously. Y'all are watching me. Who are y'all's go-to? Like, do you watch like PW Torch? Do you watch Fightful? Do you watch JD from NY? Solid Monster? Who do y'all watch for instance, like your Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, PLE recap shows? Obviously, like maybe any other like podcast or just content creators, I guess if you call it. Who's y'all's go tos, and who are some of your favorites? Whether big or small, if people have heard of them or not. Like, who are some of your go tos and some of your favorites? I've been thinking about. I kind of like doing my own thing. You know what I mean? Just for instance, like today, just whenever I have some time, pop on and talk about whatever's going on. But I definitely want to try to incorporate and maybe do some like guest appearances and stuff like that, and maybe some collaborations. So let me know who's who. And again, obviously the bigger ones I'm not gonna be able to get right now, but just anyone, and for that purpose, and two, or maybe just 1A and 1B, I have just been wanting to listen to more people and get more insight and just get more opinions, really. So just some of your thoughts on that and y'all's opinions. And did y'all watch Worlds Collide? And what do you guys think of this Mr. Iguana guy? Because he seems to be all the rage right now. Not really, but he's definitely been a talk. of the town. In these reaction thumbnails, like when like like channels when like and like they use that as their thumbnail, just kind of cracks me up. I'm just like I don't know, man. That ain't my style. That just everyone has their own style, but I don't see myself doing that. It'll just like if anything, I won't even do like a thumbnail. I'll just whatever YouTube grabs, I just leave it. Unless it's me looking fucking crazy, then I'll try to change that shit out. Or depending if I have time, I'll try to make something up. But if not, I just leave that shit because the reaction ones are just low key. No offense, I'm not gonna say anyone in particular, but some of them are kind of cringe. To me when they're just like, and I'm just like, bro, like, and it's just like, did so and so do this? And it's just like, bro, like, relax, like, really, like, is I don't know, man, just kind of cringe. But all right, so here we go. Finally found. And good old Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful.com. Shout out to him. I'm going to read a couple of his tweets. I'm just trying to go to the very beginning. Dude is very active on Twitter, which obviously is his job, right? Props to him, man, because I hate being on social media, and I'm sure he hates being on it as well. As much as he is. I'm sure he needs a vacation when he takes it. He just disconnects completely. And again, Nikki Bella is returning tomorrow on Raw, which is just so ironic because we were literally just talking about that, I think, on the prediction show. All right, cool. So I think I went back to the beginning. People just talking shit about Sean, getting it wrong. Oh, people are funny. All right, so here we go, guys. So Cody. Oops. I accidentally clicked on an ad. All right, so our guy Cody went and, of course, has something to say. Because he was asked. I'm pretty certain he was asked. And he always, I don't want to say speaks his mind, but he tries to answer it as best as he can, even if he can't truly give a full answer. And I respect that out of him. So again, shout out to Fightful.com, everyone over there. But this is a recap of what Cody said. I'm just going to leave my banner like this. Oh, no, I'll change it. All right, so of course, this is, like I said, Cody Rhodes in response to Truth coming back. I'm trying to make sure no ads play just for any copyright shit. But R-Truth, and this is from Jeremy Lambert, so shout out to them at Fightful, said R-Truth made his return to WWE at WWE Money in the Bank, attacking John Cena in the main event. Truth's return helped Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeat Cena and Logan Paul, who, side note, had dissension, obviously, in the match. We watched it together. So it's going to be interesting to see if they address that and if they end up having a one-on-one match before Cena hangs it up. But continuing on, Truth announced on June 1st that he had been released by WWE. The crowd chanted "We want Truth" on WWE programming throughout the week. Speaking on the WWE in the Bank post-show, Cody addressed Truth's return. He says, quote, "The truth is, you guys wanted truth. It's always our job. Everybody up here, everybody over here, Triple H, Nick Khan, it's always our job to give you what you want. So thank you guys for letting us know," said Cody. Fightful Select will have more details on Truth's return. Fans can find Fightful's coverage of WWE Money in the Bank by clicking here. Check out the post-show podcast, and then there's a link right there as well. And then, don't worry, guys, I will credit you in the show notes. And then this is, here we go, one of their posts about Truth as well. At WWE Money in the Bank, Truth or wrong, R-Truth Killings returned to WWE less than a week after he announced he was released on Raw. WWE. I don't know if you. Oh, it's not on that one. Hold on 1 second. Let me share that. Oops. All right, cool. So at WWE Money in the Bank, R-Truth essentially returned to WWE less than a week after he announced he was released on WWE Raw, WWE NXT, and WWE SmackDown. Fans chanted "We Want Truth" throughout these shows. The chants were acknowledged by CM Punk after Raw went off the air and by John Cena at the end of SmackDown. On social media, Truth said that the chants were heard and helped facilitate his return. And again, more fuel for the whole speculation that it was not a, work as they call it, and real life shit. I think I've actually seen this person on Twitter a couple times. But this person at It's Lovely Laveau, It's Lovely Laveau, I think, said, "I'm gonna say this and be done. Wrestling as a collective, fans and wrestlers together, use their voices to help get a black man's job back in less than a week. That's why the quote unquote how is important to me." Okay. 22 million views and broken hearts. Change was made, period. Okay. And then a whole bunch of emojis from R-Truth that said, "No cap. Hashtag we want truth was seen, heard, felt, and understood. Believe me when I say this. I love every one of y'all to death." And then a crying, smiling emoji and said, "We made history together." So again, bro, the man is speaking. He confirms it right there. Like there's really, once you see this, there really should be no other speculation, And again, like is it going to be some work, and are we going to see him on Raw or SmackDown and come out and be this like piece of shit bad guy, and like you're like, "Oh, I got you," like this, that, and the third, like I got you suckers. I guess maybe. I don't see that, man. I don't see them going through this much emotion and this big of a heartfelt thing, and then having him be like, "You know what? Nah, fuck you guys." Like that. I guess that'd be something, but that'd be a waste to me. And then I think that was everything on this page, yeah. And then just additional information on other articles that they have. But that is the how we got here and the return, right? Now we get to Triple H's response. It's very short. Very short. I don't want to say sweet, but short and to the point. And I know they have. Here we go. So essentially, Triple H was asked, was this part, like what happened with R-Truth, and how was he brought back? And Triple H said, "Are you enjoying the show?" And he kind of had like a smirk when the guy was asking. He was like, and Triple H was like, "I love that you asked that," or "It's a great question." He's like, "I love that you asked," or something like that. And he's like, "Are you enjoying the show?" And I think the guy was like kind of hesitant to respond. I think said like yeah or something like that. And Triple H just smirked again, and he was like, "I continue watching" or something. Let me pull up his exact response. But it's like, okay, bro. Okay. 1 second. Oh, some people are just fucking wild. Okay. Yeah, so Triple H on R-Truth's return, he said he smirked and he said, "You enjoying the show? All part of the show." And then moved on. And it's like, really, bro? Really? Really? All part of the show? Really? Okay. If you released like an Alberto Del Rio, people are gonna be like, "Hell yeah," like giving you praise, like clapping it up and all this good shit. And they're gonna be like, "Hell yeah, fuck yeah," like, like eating that shit up, But they got negative press, and people were pissed, People were pissed, long story short. And people called them out on it and told them how they felt. Now, all that to be said, well, before. This is now the second time, in my opinion, that Cody Rhodes has given a better response to a difficult real life question than Triple H has. And I just think that's kind of wild to me. And again, just my opinion, but it speaks volumes to Cody Rhodes' awareness and his ability to not fully address it head on and reveal anything and speak not necessarily out of turn, but tell how the sausage is made, essentially, you know what I mean? But provide you a satisfying answer and an answer that is like, that's not one that's a no comment or I'd love to answer it, but I can't, or, like something that essentially just evades it. So again, just my opinion, but shout out to Cody, man. He really knows how to handle a situation and address it by half addressing it. It's kind of like that you're not lying, but you're not telling the truth. You're just like lying by omission, essentially. Uh it's like they're like, "Oh, like I don't know, I can't think of an example right now, but you guys know what I mean." But yeah, like it's just the first time I was like, okay, it's kind of close to family, and the situation when Triple H was asked a question about Vince, and he said, "Oh, I didn't have a chance to read it" or whatever, and it just wasn't that great of an answer, right? But Cody, in my opinion, gave a much better answer, and then now with the response about R-Truth, it essentially owned up to it. He was like, yeah, we as a company and we as management owe it to the fans. If you guys are declaring something and you guys are like, yo, essentially y'all fucked up and we want truth, then we have to listen to you, and we're gonna listen to you. He knows what that is himself, like he experienced it firsthand last year, 2 years ago now. Yeah, 2 years. Wow, fucking crazy. Yeah, 2 years ago now with the whole "We Want Cody" thing. I felt confident with 2 years, but then I was like, no, it can't be 2 years ago. But yeah, with the whole Rock bullshit and Cody giving up his spot and the whole "We Want Cody" thing, it's it's a real thing, and I think fans take should feel good about the response. And before I get into that, I will be going through your comments here really quick. You guys are chit chatting away. I appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate everyone for piling in here. Again, if you're watching live or if you're going to be watching our replay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. If you are here, feel free to give the old stream here a like or roo. If not, if you want to dislike it, that's cool too. But the engagement helps this shit with the algorithm and all that. So appreciate it. If not, that's cool too. Just appreciate you being here. But yeah, I'm gonna be reading your thoughts here to see what you guys had to say and what you guys have to think about all this craziness, and if you think it was real or if it was part of a whole scheme from the beginning. Did they get us, guys? Did they get us? And look, man, I am not one of those fans that cannot admit when they're wrong, or it's like, yo, like, like, no, they didn't get me. Like, I knew it was a work from the beginning and blah, blah, blah. No, like, that's the whole point of wrestling is to get got, and to be along for the journey. So if it was, then yeah, cool, you got me, bro. You fucking got me. But I just feel like they would have elaborated the story much more and actually created more of a backstory to it than just being like, okay, truth, you're gonna have this cool ass moment with Cena at Saturday Night's main event. You're gonna have some random match on SmackDown. I think it was against JC Mateo, right? Was it a qualifying match? I think it was something like that. And then peace out, bro. Come on. After what, 15, 17 years, almost 20 years? Come on. You're not gonna release someone like that. Know you're gonna do it for weeks, possibly months in advance, and then just not create a story around it. That's a lot, in my opinion. But what up, everyone? What up? What up? There's a lot of you in here, popping in the chats here. So if I miss your comment, I apologize. But I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all you guys. What up, E? What up, K Smith? I know I saw Universal pop in. Walter, Franklin, what up, guys? Lifeless, what up, what up? Oops. Damien, what up, what up? Yeah, man, Cena always be doing that shit. Cena's been doing that shit since the beginning of time. Calling out his spots. Yeah, K Smith, he says Cena been screaming spots for 20 years. Yeah, bro. Exactly. Exactly. um Hey, y'all been having good conversation though. Shout out to you guys. Franklin, no, it wasn't their casino stipulation. They be having random matches at AEW. I think Challenger. It's something where they'll have like the heavyweight champion, for instance, right? Like for instance, a random match. Like we'll have John Moxley go up against Mark Briscoe, right? And if Mark Briscoe can beat Moxley in a regular singles match, then he will gain a championship opportunity to face Moxley for the championship for the actual title later on, right? But if Mark loses, he can never challenge Moxley again for the championship while Moxley is the champion. I just can't think of the fucking name of the match right now. But that's what I was saying. If they had an idea of releasing Truth even a couple weeks or a month, 2 months prior, you could have completely built that match up against Cena at Money in the Bank at Saturday night's main event. So that's why I'm just like, nah, man, yeah, unless I get some like a full explanation that someone like Sean Ross or whoever gets the information, and it gets out there, like the whole idea of like I don't know, I don't buy that shit. And again, because R-Truth and his son both confirmed that nah, like, and R-Truth's son took a picture, a screenshot. I'm gonna pull that up here real quick. Took a screenshot, and it was pretty much like no cap, bro. I just want to make sure it's no videos real quick. Or he was like, "Cat, bro." Yeah, here we go. Let me share this real quick with you guys. Oh, wrong one. All right, so this was our truth's response, right? That we already went over, and then this was the screenshot from Christopher Killings, which is R-Truth's son, apparently. And obviously, he shared the reel of Triple H's response, addressing R-Truth coming back, and pretty much what happened, all that good stuff. And pretty much, short and sweet, he was like, "Stop the cat," stop the cat, which is after my time. For the longest time, I had no idea. Like, I didn't know the difference between cap and no cap. I didn't know what was a lie and what was no lie. And I still don't use it to this day. It's not one of my like slang words, I guess, because I still get it confused. So, cap is after my time. And then here is the actual post that from Chris Van Vliet. Shout out to Chris Van Vliet. But a little picture of the cap again. So, cap must be a lie. And no cap is the truth, I guess. Y'all let me know if I got that right. But I think I got it right because he's saying cap to Triple H's response, which we're all assuming is a lie. So, yeah, it's got to be a lie. Man, there's Fireball again. But yeah, guys, so that's the whole thing kind of in a nutshell. I did take this shit off real quick. And then, like I said, I'll go through your comments here really quick, and then we'll be jumping off. Like I said, it wasn't gonna be too long. Still almost within an hour because you guys know me. But I just kind of wanted to go over that shit and just kind of get my thoughts out there, talk about it while it's still relevant, and really quick on what I think is going to happen tomorrow night on Raw. I think it's going to be a pretty eventful Raw. So I need to save those because I need to give them credit. But you guys watching the game tonight, bro? I'm gonna be starting it, or I have it set up here, so I'm gonna be watching a little bit on delay while I'm getting some shit done. But bro, like I said, I got money on the Pacers, yo. Let's go. Fucking Tyrese Halliburton, man. My dude ain't no joke. My dude ain't no joke. All right, I'm just pulling up the info for Monday Night Raw.
All right, everybody. Adam Pierce, fresh off the plane here in
I don't know if you guys can hear
what
that.
was an historic Saturday in Los Angeles between Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank, and Raw is live tomorrow
It's an
night
announcement
right
from Adam Pierce.
The 2025 Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth freaking Rollins, will be in the house, as will the undisputed WWE Champion John Cena. Don't forget, we kick off the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Nikki Bella is back. One of the all-time greats will be in Phoenix tomorrow night. Your main event anywhere on planet Earth for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Jey Uso
defends against the former champion, the Ring General Gunther. All that so much more live from Phoenix tomorrow night. It's Monday Night Raw, the flagship, 8 Eastern.
Yo, shout out to Adam Pierce too, man. He is so great at his job. WWE finally struck gold with their general managers when they found Adam Pierce and Nick Aldis. Just perfect. Very similar, but very different in their styles. And I love that they command authority, but neither of them are like that heel general manager, right? Like, or that general manager that tries to make it all about them, or just makes no sense, or just doesn't connect, right? But they both, I don't know, man. And I don't really have a favorite between, one over the other. It's just refreshing to finally have a general manager that's not like some like piece of shit, or like, like a heel and makes it, like just unfair, and just one of those things, like that's not a main focus. So but yeah, so the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments begin tomorrow night on Raw. I was looking here to see if they haven't announced an official tournament yet, or like obviously the tournament, but the brackets. But I don't see. Let me see. Because even Adam Pierce, he just said that the tournament kicks off tomorrow night on Raw, but he did not mention any of the actual entrants. They announced a new format. Tournaments, okay, maybe they did. Brackets. We have 16 apiece, blah, blah, blah. We do have, obviously, a few declarations. Jade Cargill, Charlotte. So that's two, heavy hitters right there, which I think is pretty dope. And it adds to the importance of it as well. Oh. Wait, is this June 7, 2025? They'll take place at 9. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to share this article with you guys. Logically, a couple rounds, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is from What Culture? There's a lot of ads. Of course, though. There's ads everywhere. I'm guilty of it. Alright, cool. So I'm going to pull this up here really quick. And again, we don't seem to have any of the like an actual listing of the entrants. I'm gonna go through this other tab that I have here really quick. But besides Jade Cargill and Charlotte, I don't know who else has declared, for lack of better terms. Which is interesting. But okay. So, and shout out to Jamie Kennedy at whatculture.com. Shout out to them. But again, WWE announces 2025 King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Brackets have a twist. Both Raw GM Adam Pearce and SmackDown counterpart Nick Aldis announced on Friday SmackDown. You know, making up shit. Episode of Blue Brand, which is essentially SmackDown TV, that the next WWE King and Queen of the Ring tournaments will kick off next week. They're obviously separate tourneys for the men and women across both major shows. Like last year, both sets of brackets will kick off with 16 wrestlers apiece, but there's a twist for this year's versions. The opening round matches will be fatal four-way bouts. So, in other words, there are actually only 3 rounds to each tournament this time. A first round, the semifinals, and then the respective finals, which is interesting to note. They'll take place at Night of Champions over in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on June 28th. The close proximity of that show explains why WWE plumped for an opening round change. Management presumably didn't want qualifiers at the same time Money in the Bank ones either, so WWE will need to race through King. Okay, so they just need to race through. Logically, a couple of first round matches, one for the men and one for the women, will take place on Monday's Raw, and then a further pair on Friday's SmackDown. Then the company will repeat that trick on the 16th and 20 June episodes. I love, UK dates. Editions of both shows that leave just enough time to run the semifinals on the June 23rd Raw and June 27th SmackDown. And then again, they just add that the go home show of SmackDown on that week will probably be pre-taped due to travel. So, okay, and it looks like the last piece here, no pun intended, Pearce and Aldis also revealed that the 2025 King and Queen of the Ring winners will go on to work major WWE title matches at SummerSlam on the 2nd and 3rd of August. Of course, those who recall last year's Super Show will remember that King Gunther beat Damian Priest for the heavyweight title, and Queen Nia Jax dethroned Bayley, where's you, to become the brand new women's champion. Something similar, could happen, is what they say. Interestingly, WWE instructed both GMs to act like they were raising the stakes and offering something radically different for this year's tournament. That isn't actually the case. The only notable changes are the formatting, inclusion of the aforementioned Fatal 4-Way. So, again, just a little breakdown of the tournament setup there, but no idea or any other inclination as to who is in it besides... There we go. Oh, besides Jade Cargill and Charlotte. But with that being said, guys, the last thing regarding Raw that I wanted to officially put out there, and again, I wish I remembered the first time I mentioned it, but I feel we're gonna get a cash in tomorrow night on Raw, guys. I feel Seth is gonna cash in. I feel like that's the reason why the Gunther and Jey Uso match was declared so early on a random Raw. It just all lines up, man. It all lines up to them going with the obvious pick and Seth Rollins winning the briefcase, him being able to call his own shot and be pretty much, an asshole about it, and not even an asshole, right? Take full advantage of the rules of the briefcase and be able to cash in whatever he wants. So I think it's going to solve a couple different things, right? It's going to prevent maybe even I don't want to say a clean victory, but a victory that you could potentially argue would hurt one side or the other between Jay and Gunther. Because you definitely don't want to see Gunther taking another loss here, in my opinion. If he, whether he gets pinned, especially if he submits, that would be just obscene. But if he were to lose again to Jay, I really don't know what you would do with Gunther. In my opinion, you would have to maybe give him some time off and then reintroduce him in a couple months and start this dominant streak and just go from there. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to see that happen to Gunther. Or the only other thing is you have him beat Jay, which wouldn't be terrible either. I would kind of be here for that. I'm not advocating for Jay to lose the title right now because I think he's doing okay. But I don't think him losing the title anytime after now, would be too crazy because he had a good run with it. He achieved what he needed to achieve, right? He wasn't just some quick champion. I mean, obviously you want him to hold on to it for a little bit longer, but if he were to lose it anytime, from now on, it's not like he was just some weak champion. The fan reaction really adds to him, right? And to the whole presentation and the whole package. But I think as a champion, he was fine, if he does end up losing it tomorrow. So, with that being said, you solve all that with Seth. It fits in with the character he has been since his, excuse me, his partnership with Paul Heyman at WrestleMania, his addition of Braun and Bronson, and it fast tracks his mission statement, right? What he declared that he wanted to do and what he thinks is the only answer to guiding the ship. And I think we're going to get it tomorrow. Sorry, guys, I have a little tickle. But I think it answers, all those questions. It accelerates what they want to do with Seth, and it sets up a strong story going into SummerSlam. Whether you want to have Jay come back even starting next week and set his mission statement for reclaiming the title, or if you move on immediately starting obviously the following week, Seth comes out, gloats about becoming champion, says whatever he's going to say, someone comes out, interrupts him, and they go from there. You just have so many options at that point. So, or you have just Seth come out and gloat, whatever, he finishes the segment. We move on to the week prior. Jay comes back. He tries to sneak attack Rollins. Braun and Bronson fight off Jay. Cody comes out to save Jay, whatever. And then Jay challenges Rollins for the title at SummerSlam and sets up the rematch there. You have that option. Or, like I said, if you want to have Seth start focusing on someone new and maybe, no offense, someone a little bit higher, like if you want to go like a CM Punk route, you can do that as well. I think it's a little early still, but I mean, this not even honestly not. Like, when I said early, I mean it because I don't feel like Punk would win the title at SummerSlam, but it does align with the story that they've been doing, right? So definitely not early in that regard. It would actually play in quite well, and it's a big time match at your second biggest PLE of the year. That is also 2 nights now. So you definitely need a big time match. And yes, the reaction is still great for Jay, but at some point it's going to start to wind down, and you don't want to, it would be awkward, right? If he starts to do his entrance and it's not as over, right? So you do want to be mindful of that, and obviously they're aware of that, and I have faith that they'll pull the trigger to adjust it when they need to. But in order to do that as well, you do want to get the title off of him before it gets to that point, because you don't want to have any backlash, which I don't see that would happen, but you don't want it to just start to fizzle out, and the perception of the title reign to change at that point. So just some thoughts on the R-Truth stuff and Seth Rollins and going into Monday Night Raw. But like I said, I'm going to go through your thoughts here really quick, and then I'm going to bounce for the evening. But I again appreciate you guys for popping in. Y'all are funny. His grapefruit strong. Lord of Dogtown, what up, what up? I mean, I think Cody was asked, though. I think he was either asked or I think it was brought up somehow. So, you know, if he's asked or if he's in that situation, what is he supposed to do, you know? Jean Paul, yeah. Franklin, you said Cody should take over. And again, with his response, bro, I think he's making a real good case for himself. Not to take over even anytime soon, but when he does hang up the boots, man, I think Cody's going to be in a good position, a good power position. Maybe 10 years from now. Yeah, Ronnie said at Kickass Podcast, if Cody loses at SummerSlam, should he get another shot at the title this year? I don't think he should. It would just depend on the circumstances, bro, and it depends on who he'll be challenging again. If it's Cena again, it would just depend. It would really just depend, and that's why you got to be careful with what you set up and how you present the last portion of the year. And I think it really depends on what they want and what they have in mind for Cena, really. So I don't know, man. It's hard to answer until we get closer to it. And until we know or until we have a better idea of the outcome, you know? The outcome in the sense for the rest of the year. Yeah, exactly, bro. And what up? The soulless trench coat. What up? What up? You said they should have played it or played with it more if it was a work like have seen it maybe having something to do with truth being let go. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Jazar, what up? What up? What up? What's your question? You got a few minutes, man. What up? What up? Yeah, okay, Franklin. Cat means lie. Thanks, bro. Oh, cap isn't okay, bro. Thank you, Franklin. Yeah, I'm just not hip. Emily, you say get to the point. They lie. I was the person who made the comments last night. Believe it or not, I don't know what you mean there, man. What do you mean? But thanks for popping in. I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. All right, Lord of Dogtown. You said having a King of the Ring right after Money in the Bank is strange to me. I realize they're different, but I don't know how to feel about it. Yeah, and I mean tournaments are an easy crutch too, so I get that. What up, ex Tarlina? What up? What up? D Rock, what up? What up, bro? Yeah, and they did advertise Cena for Night of Champions. That is a good point. I wonder who's. I was about to say Punk, but then I was like, oh, and the second I thought of Punk, the second I realized that is not happening. So I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a great point. I wonder if Could it be Goldberg? Could y'all fucking imagine? I don't think it would, but can y'all fucking imagine it's Cena and Goldberg? I would be terrified for their safety. Yeah, Lord Dog Tiny said, I think Seth makes it a triple threat and pins Jay. Makes it a triple threat very briefly, and then ends up winning for sure. I agree with you there, man. Nadeem, what up? What up? No, I am not. I definitely am not. You're very kind. The Soulless Trenchcoat, you said, haven't even finished the original Walking Dead yet. Dude, I think I got to like season 5 or no, probably 6. Because I got through this season. I think season 5 was, well, I don't want to say any spoilers, but I think season 5 is when the big emotional thing happened, is what I'll say, with one of the characters. And after that, I was just like, really? Really? And then I was like, okay, well, the follow up must be Prime then. And it was shit, in my opinion. So, like, within the next, I think, season after that, I checked out. I just checked out. Nadim, y'all are very kind. Thank you. Yeah, trench coat again. Another solid point. You said Cody has got a lot of his dad in him. You can see it. I think he would be a good trainer or booker. Well, he is a trainer. He does have his own wrestling school in Atlanta or somewhere right there in Georgia. Nightmare Factory. He was very actively involved in it when he was in AEW. I know he still is involved because I see pictures and stuff that they post on their Instagram. But QT Marshall, remember him? QT Marshall from AEW was one of the head trainers there also. So yeah, he's already actively involved in the training aspect, but he did mention that he doesn't want to be involved in like the executive side when he was in AEW, but I think that might have just been, well, he has a dual role being a wrestler and a prominent wrestler, obviously, in that regard, and having such a heavy role behind the scenes. I could see him not wanting to do it while he's still actively wrestling, but could definitely see him doing something behind the scenes for sure. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Yeah, Alex, July 13th, Evolution 2. Yeah, yeah, Goldberg would fucking just demolish Cena. In not a good way. So yeah, guys, that is the topics of the day. I appreciate you guys for popping in and watching along here, very much so. If you haven't already, do like or dislike the stream here, whatever you feel so inclined. I appreciate that. It does help get the channel out there, man. And it's fun to see the channel grow. Like I said, it's fun to have more people pop in, get to meet new people, hear new sides, stuff like that. So definitely appreciate you guys for doing that. And yeah, until next time, like I said, hopefully, possibly have something in the works for Thursday. If not, then I'll try to do something solo, and figure something out, whether it's something that I record or pop on live again with you guys. So we will see. But enjoy your week ahead, guys. Stay safe out there. It's, like I said, it's a crazy world, but a lot of times it's all about how you react to things, right? That is what I've learned in my years on this planet. So I try to remind myself because some of them days be getting to you. But tomorrow is Monday. It's the start of a fresh new week. I'm thinking the screen is fucking bright, but it's the start of a bright and a fresh new week. And that's all we can ask for, right? Fresh start. So, like I said before, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And until next time, stay safe and enjoy wrestling, guys. Take care.